Valor Morghulis, everybody. Wait, should I be saying Valor Morghulis at all? Anyway, hey, what's going on? This is the Hype Swatch, and we are back again for something special. And today we are going to be talking about Avengers Infinity War, currently the number one movie worldwide, and I would think. And today, I'm Don Willie, and today I have with me two of my friends from the watch. Have Lady Tinker Jasso up to the
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be back here to speak about Infinity War. I really enjoyed it, and you really can't speak about this movie without speaking about spoilers because the entire movie is just one big spoiler after spoiler after spoiler. But I'm looking forward to talking with you guys about this movie.
and we have Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat.
We all know where it is right here. Let's get this started.
Right, and for those of you who might be wondering, like, why can't we look technical difficulties? I did the thing that people told me to do. Went out and bought a whole new damn computer, and what happens? Now you can't even see me. Yeah. But enough of that. Thanos demands your obedience in this matter. Today we're going to be talking about, uh, if not the best Marvel movie, then definitely one of the best. Um, and you know what? Look, I'll just start off by saying this. It wasn't necessarily my favorite Marvel movie or even comic book movie ever, but I do think it brought the most comic book to the screen out of any movie that I've seen personally. You guys thoughts, Tinker?
It felt less of a movie and more like an experience because it doesn't have a story per se. But it's kind of like, since there's been what 18, 19 movies before this one, so many things have happened, so many characters that we've seen for so long, a bad guy that has been teased for years and years, and just everything coming together. There were really too many characters, too many plots, too many, stones to make like one story. Well, it actually felt more like Thanos' story than anyone else's story, but it was one of the most thrilling experiences that I've experienced, and it was I really enjoyed myself, and I really enjoyed how they paired the characters together and everything that they did. So I really liked it.
Okay, Jerry, your thoughts?
Uh, well, I'm gonna have to start with a little bit of comic book history here. Comic book movie history. Remember back in the '90s, back in the day, they didn't really. These studios were always against having things like they are in the comics. They always were. They never would hire guys from comics. They wouldn't model things after comics. Anytime anyone they'd make say like, hey, why don't we bring Frank Miller in? Oh, why don't we bring Todd McFarlane in? Like, those are comic book guys. We got movie writers here. We know how we do movies. So we saw things differently. I think the best way we saw that was when the best little microcosm of that was like the first X-Men movie where the characters are openly mocking what the X-Men look like in the comics. Like when
Yeah, the yellow lycra.
oh, what would you rather wear yellow spandex? Huh? Would you rather wear yellow spandex? And Marvel came and said, screw all that. We're going to start making characters the way that they were on screen. We saw Iron Man. We saw all the Phase 1. We saw them similar to what we saw in comic books. We saw them all come together in Avengers. We saw Marvel breaking down walls that all these previous studios had didn't think was possible on the big screen. And then they, teased Thanos, and I was always wondering, are they going to go that far? Are they really going to go that far? And the answer we finally got the answer on what the limit is, and the answer is no. They're not going to go that far. They're going to go somewhat, but we finally got to the limit. It's still a good movie, still good, in its own way, but we got to a limit to where they're not going to cross into comic book territory with this movie.
Well, remember, we still have one to go. This is clearly a part one. And I'm still very curious about what they're going to do with part two. I think they're going to be like one big long movie that they divided into two. So in that sense, I think they're going to go a bit crazier in the next one.
I mean, well, look, for me
I have
personally,
my skeptical about that, but we'll get to that later.
right. Well, look, for me personally, I think that they didn't necessarily they were the Infinity or storyline from back in the day, but I think they did. I think they did enough that was comic book specific and kind of comic book accurate to me that it works out. Where this was a movie that I think served two types of fans. You have the people who have decided that they're going to stick with the MCU because Marvel has set up this whole big story. A lot of things are interconnected, and they just want to see how this all plays out. And then you have the people who are from the comic book side of things who, they know certain things about these characters, about certain storylines. It was more of like, okay, would they be able to pull off doing this massive kind of at all? Because the first Avengers, was already something that people wasn't sure that worked out. Age of Ultron, is kind of iffy on how that one went, but for the most part, the individual normally works. So have these big crossover event movies. This being the biggest one yet, that people kind of had to, we kind of had to look at it like, okay, well, we've seen them do this in the comic books a lot. Can they do this kind of crossover in the movies? And it worked, and I like the fact that they added, the little comic book Easter eggs and stuff that, unless you're in the comics, probably wouldn't even know about. I think that's the biggest triumph is, being able to serve two two audiences that don't necessarily have the same level of involvement.
I'm going to disagree on that. It served the two audiences because this, in my opinion, was completely catered to the audience that became fans of the MCU that were not big comic book readers at all. This is a heavy, Marvel movie person fan, not a Marvel comics fan at all. And a lot has it to do because this was kind of very formulaic, and it had a very movie formulaic structure, whereas the comics were a bit different. They're much different in how they went about doing it. This was like, well, we got to stick with what we know works.
Well, it's also true that Marvel is not playing with a full deck. DC has all of their characters. Marvel doesn't have all of theirs. Marvel is limited in that sense. They don't have.
But they missed out on characters that they didn't bring in any characters that they own that were out there.
Yeah, but because I think that Marvel is also looking at the long game. They still have many more years to go, and they want to keep on doing movies. And if they just throw absolutely everything all in one go, then they'll burn out. I think that they want to go building slowly. Like, for example, I was a bit disappointed that they didn't leave any clues for Secret Invasion, because Avengers 4 didn't have a title, and they said that they wouldn't been so linked. So I thought that this was going to be one story, and then we were going to see something completely different in Avengers 4. And since they already teased Captain Marvel and the Skrulls in that movie, I thought, ooh, Secret Invasion. I love Secret Invasion. I want to see Secret Invasion. But they didn't tease Secret Invasion. This is clearly a part one, which I've got to admit is the one thing that annoyed me. They said that they wouldn't be that connected. I'm like, bullshit. They're clearly completely connected. That pissed me off a bit. So
I
I
thought that was
think
brilliant, actually. You can't be going telling around everyone we're gonna do part two. You know, you got to try and surprise them some either by hook or crook. You got to do it. You
but
can't be like Danny Dave and be like, Jon Snow's not coming back.
but that was an outright lie. That was an outright lie, and it was a bit. I didn't like the outright lie. But I think they still have many. I think they want this to work for many, 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 many years. So they're doing it slowly but surely. One character here, another character there. So they were building to this one with the characters that they had instead of throwing all of them because they still have many years to go. And not only that, this movie had so many characters. Imagine if you throw more in. There's just no space. We also have to realize that they're not the same medium, comics and movies. And the people that see movies are not used to so many characters all rammed in. You'd lose people completely. So,
But it's not even the characters that are the issue here. It's how the story came about, the story structure, the story
I
plot,
know, but the
all of
story
that.
structure from a comic and a movie is also different. You can't.
Not really. Not really.
I mean, no, because you gotta remember talking about the whole comic book. You know,
Or and also things like we need an action scene. We got to get an action beat. We need that. We need to by hook or crook. We need to put an action beat here. We need to put this beat here. We need there's a lot of formulas that they had to do that they did in this
that's stuff
that you don't have to do.
Right.
Exactly.
So yeah,
They're different mediums, so you have to adapt. You have to adapt
No,
to the
no, no,
medium
no.
that you're.
That's not different mediums. That's different big. That's blockbuster media. That's okay. There's movies and then there's blockbuster movies. So this definitely followed the blockbuster, the Michael Bay movie formula in style.
It's true, but
wow.
how much money did this movie cost? Let's be honest. This is movie.
But that's
this.
what they did. I'm not saying I'm not saying it doesn't make sense economically why they did it. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking from an artistic view.
If these movies don't make money, they'll stop making them. Like I like artistic movies, but if they don't make money, they won't make them. It's the truth.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not like it was gonna bomb if they would have like took an action scene out or two. Like it wasn't gonna be like out of here. No one's gonna watch it. Like it just might have been the difference between a $90 billion movie to $1.4 billion movie.
Well, listen. The question is, what action scene would you have taken out? I mean, because we spent a lot of time talking about the periphery. Let's talk about events in the actual stuff.
Yeah,
and like what action scene would you have removed, Gary?
I mean, pretty much everything. I would have removed everything involving the Black Order. Like, I didn't understand why do these guys need it? Why?
They needed to get the Infinity Stone. The first fight with the Black Order was with getting the Time Stone from Doctor Strange. If they wouldn't go for the stones, then what the hell? The whole movie is about getting the stone. The other
and yet, in Thanos' quest, not a single action scene happened, and he got the entire Infinity Gauntlet. And he took him from elders too. He didn't take him from like someone like Doctor Strange. He took him from more powerful beings. Without.
Okay, yeah, but look, damn it, man, not the comic book. Look, you know what?
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on.
I'm saying.
Wait. Let me finish real quick. For you and anyone else out there who may not realize, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is actually only canon unto itself. It actually has a number designation the same way the 616 universe has. So, You can say whatever you want about them not doing things from the comic books. Doesn't have to because
But
it
they didn't
only
even do it in the
operates
same
by its
style.
own
Is what I'm
rules.
saying. They're not even doing. That's why Thanos was not even Thanos. This was not a Thanos, in my opinion,
Oh, that's
because
fuck.
Oh, come on. It's a version of Thanos.
no, it's almost a completely different character than
Okay,
what
it's
Thanos.
true. Thanos in the comics, he was a psychopath. He started killing because since he was very little, his mother tried to kill him. Then he killed his mother. And he was in love with death, and he wanted to kill
Mm-hmm.
everyone because the embodiment of Lady Death, and he was courting her, and it was completely different. I agree. It
But
surprised
the biggest difference I think here is that from the Thanos that we know and the Thanos here, Thanos was basically a little finger like manipulator with strength, but had strength unlike Littlefinger. Whereas this Thanos was almost Robert Baratheon, like a young Robert Baratheon, in the way he's gonna go get everything. Like, give it to me, it's mine. Rah, I'm gonna take it all by brute force. Whereas the other one outsmarted every single person to get his Infinity Stone.
Yeah, I mean, but his motivations were different, man. And
Well, let's
shout
talk
out.
about. Are we
Wait,
gonna
hold
talk?
on.
You want to get to the motivations?
Wait. Shout out to the people in the chat right now. Yo, man, listen. You know what, Jerry? I'm gonna have to call you out the same way that Ricky Hunt and Paco H are calling you out right now. Are you ever happy with anything, Jerry? Is there anything that you ever don't dislike, Jerry?
Does Jerry
Plenty of.
hate everything? Is Jerry ever happy? Good questions, guys.
Yeah, man. Look, at the end of the day, you gotta watch the movie for what it is. It's not an adaptation of a comic book storyline. They made their own storyline, and I think that this one worked. And that is the thing that you want to happen. If you're going to a movie, you want the movie to work.
But I didn't say it didn't work. Let's be honest on that. Let's be in the very top. I said that it's not very comic bookly. They did it their own way. It mostly works. I did say that, and
Okay.
it does mostly work. Like a lot of, you can just forget that this is named Thanos. This mostly
I
works.
thought it worked, and I actually enjoyed seeing another version of Thanos. I think it's mostly because he did a really good job with his acting, and they did a really good job with the motion capture. So I found him believable.
Yeah, Josh Brolin did an excellent job at making me forget that the big purple guy on screen was not real. And ILM and whatever other studios worked on the special effects did an amazing job because, look, man, there were points where I was wondering, is the is that version of Thanos that I'm seeing on screen CGI, or was that like some kind of prosthetic, or possibly like a clay figure or something like that? They did a great job with the look. Now, I will say that they didn't do a great job with the entirety of all CGI characters because Proxima Midnight at times her face looked kind of plasticky to me, and Corvus Glaive and what was the other one? Corvus
The one
Glaive.
that I remember is the big one, the Hulk like thing.
Yeah. Damn. What the hell was his name? Shit. Now I'm gonna have to look him up because I'm trying to remember what the hell the damn. Oh, Cull Obsidian.
But the Moss, he actually looked good.
Ebony Maw looked amazing. For that not to be, for it to be fully CGI, I thought they did amazing, especially making the face and the hands look real.
And
Because
he was actually the best. He was actually my favorite of the Black Order.
I mean, well, he was the one with the most lines,
And his powers were really cool. How he used them, how he moved with them.
right?
Oh, he was my favorite. He was my favorite. The Hulk like thing, I never remember his name. It's mainly because the one that I like the least. I was like, nah, did we need him? I feel like the Black Order, sometimes I understand trying to be faithful to the comics, but if you're gonna have a character that's gonna do nothing, why have him there?
I mean, I thought it was pretty much a huge waste of the Black Order. Like, they're just you could have just picked random thugs that looked like or
No,
looked like Titans or something.
the Maul was great. He was good.
He didn't even I don't even remember him having those powers. Like,
No, he was a telepath. Technically, he could like get into your head and manipulate
yeah,
the genes.
he was like Purple Man.
Yeah, but
Kind of.
they've already done Purple Man and Jessica Jones. We don't need another version of Purple Man. Honestly speaking,
Well, no, they needed someone that had less that would have been more thought, less action. They needed him to do some telekinetic stuff.
And And come on, once you've had a Purple Man in, even if it's a Netflix show, he was really good. He did a really good job.
um, okay,
I
so
do. I mean, okay, the CGI was good on Thanos, but I disagree with the look that they get. Like, he looks so weird without his fucking helmet. Like, I don't know
I,
what they think he look. I hate that bald head look that he goes around with.
I was actually very, very happy the moment that he took his helmet and armor off.
Oh no, not me. He
I
just looks
understand that's
funny.
the look from the comics, but I always thought I didn't like the look in the comics either. So I was like, fine, but it's because I didn't like the original look, to be fair. So it's just too bulky, too out of the way, too much.
I
And
mean,
I feel that it makes me feel like if someone has a lot of armor, a lot of armor, a lot of armor, it's like he needs the armor to kind of like protect himself. Like if you like take everything off, you're kind of like he looks stronger to me because it kind of says I don't need any armor. Me myself are already badass and too strong that it doesn't. You don't need armor. Kind of like when the Superman they gave him the new suit that kind of looked like armor. I'm like, what the hell? He doesn't need it. It's not necessary. So
I
I
mean, I
guess
guess it's kind of good because it made him look less like Thanos. So just the point that he's not really Thanos. So
he's a version of Thanos.
it's funny because Big
uh,
E in the chat called him Stone Cold Steve Thanos, and yeah,
he
you
looks
know,
more like Stone Cold Steve Austin than he does Thanos. That's true. That's a good point. Thank you, Big E.
Oh, please don't give him, don't give Jerry. We'll never hear the end of it.
All right, so now I'm not even gonna call him Thanos. He's Stone Cold from now.
oh god damn it, man. E, look at what you done started, man. You know what? It's all good. Look, all right. So the opening scene. How are we feeling about the opening scene with the Asgardians being decimated by Thanos and the Black Order, and the retrieval of the Space Stone from Loki?
Part of me is a bit pissed because I loved the third Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was the best, and I thought that they'd finally managed to get a hold of Thor. Like the first one was funny, but it wasn't great. The second one they tried to do Game of Thronesy and it failed miserably. The third one they finally got Thor. They finally got him. And then like I understand that some of his people survived. They were all the whole of the destroying half of the people thing, whatever. And Valkyrie wasn't there, and they've kind of sort of hinted that she's alive. But come on, there's barely none of his people left. And I want another Thor. I now that it's like once you actually get it, you get the character, you give us the movie that we want, and then like it's over. I was a bit pissed off. I understand that Loki had to die because his character had kind of run out. The moment that they made him kind of like an anti-hero and they sort of kind of made him good, they kind of ruined what was good about the character. Like in Thor Ragnarok, it's the weakest that I've seen Loki ever. That was my only issue about Thor Ragnarok, what they did with Loki. I'm like, no, come on, Loki is always 10 step ahead. Not it's Thor keep getting the best of him. Thor, who is funny and great, but he's not smarter than Loki. So as sad as I was to see Loki dead, I get it. His character kind of needed to go, and they had to do something different with him. But come on.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
at first, I didn't really. I was just like, oh, you're really going to just taking it by brute force. But since it's the Stone Cold, if we're gonna establish Stone Cold as a top heel, a top villain, a strong villain, this is perfect way to, just make him look strong. Like you have him just beat everyone up, get a shocking death, build up his heat. It's perfect. I think it's a good way of, showing the intimidation of Stone Cold.
Yo, Jerry, you are an asshole.
Do you think Loki is fully dead? I've heard
Yeah,
some.
Loki's dead. He got his throat ripped and like crushed by Stone Cold. Got the Stone
Yeah,
Cold stunner on him.
he was also supposed to be dead in Thor Ragnarok by stabbing, and that didn't take.
Yeah,
And Loki
but
has come back to life in the comics many times. He came back as Kid Loki. He came
Everyone comes
back
back
as
to life in the comic.
Lady Loki in Sif's body.
I
I
mean,
actually wouldn't mind seeing Lady Loki, like making her actually smart and clever and sneaky, like Avengers Loki. I missed that Loki.
you know what? Look, Thanos said no resurrections this time. And I think that there are deaths that, in order for this to actually not just be your run of the mill Disney-fied movie, some people are gonna have to stay dead, and I think that I think Loki is gonna have to be one of them. Loki and our other major death from this outing, Heimdall, which I kind of figured Heimdall was gonna be dead. Uh, yeah, I wasn't expecting
He
him
went
to be
down
the
like a
first one to
boss.
die, but you know,
I thought Heimdall was gonna have one of the stones, maybe. Like, I mean, not Pop. I thought it was Pop. It's either gonna be him or Adam Warlock, which we didn't end up getting. But
No, we're gonna
I
get
thought
him third. We're gonna get him the third Guardian. That's what they tease him. He's clearly a Guardian's character.
well, we'll get into that later.
And
But
there's no time in this movie to introduce anyone. We didn't even get Captain Marvel.
yeah. But I mean, I was thinking that we were gonna. That I was gonna think that was gonna be the explanation how he's able to see so much things. He had the soul rings or soul thing to where he was gonna be able to see. Or I thought that might be an explanation, but it turned out not to be the case. Um, and then he went out. But yeah, I think you're 100% right, Don Willie, when you say when Stone Cold says that there's no resurrections, that's a meta message to the audience. Of like, this is it. This is for good this time.
yeah. So definitely, and that was an interesting way to start off the movie, was with that sequence. And like, come on, they kind of telegraphed the whole thing with Loki dying, though. You know, where he, yeah, where he, whatchamacallit, gives Thanos the stone, and then like, yeah, I pledge my undying fidelity. I'm like, you just sick the Hulk on him. You just sick the Hulk on Thanos. And if it wasn't for the fact that Thanos was just like, yeah, I'm taking the gloves off on this one, this would have been a totally different situation. So there's no way that no way that Loki was making it out of that situation.
Now,
But
talking about the Hulk, what did you think about the whole situation of Hulk not coming back?
Oh,
Like,
I hated it. I thought
I
he
know,
got the.
right? It was my main issue with this movie. It was ridiculous. It was funny a bit at the beginning. If you would have only done it, during the first scene, I get it. Hulk's never been beaten that way, so playing a bit with it at the beginning, it was kind of fun. But then not coming out at all, I'm like, oh come on.
It got to the point of absurdity when they put him in the Hulkbuster thing, and they're like, It sounds like the whole part of the reason was the whole reason that they kept the Hulk out was for that one laugh at the end, like ha ha, Ruffalo in the Hulkbuster. This is great. I'm like, I think that's the whole reason for it, and I don't think that's a good enough reason for Hulk not coming out. Like, Hulk is too cool not to come out.
I mean, well, there's supposed to be some story arc that's supposed to be told. So we're gonna get the Hulk in the next movie, and the what's gonna wind up happening now. The thing that I'm wondering is, what kind of Hulk are we going to get? I'm imagining that we're gonna need the '90s style Bruce Banner Hulk mixed with a little bit of World War Hulk in order to fully bring the Hulk to fruition in a satisfying
Talking about the Hulk
way.
that has like a T-shirt, like with his chest open and like that Hulk.
Tank top Hulk.
Not tank top Hulk, like the one with the button-up shirt, but he doesn't button any of it.
Yeah, the world's biggest button-up shirt.
Yes, yeah, that Hulk.
With glasses, because he did wear glasses sometimes too, which is kind of weird.
Actually, he had that costume on for Infinity Gauntlet. So.
Question: favorite character of the movie?
I'm. You know what? I'm gonna have to go with the man himself, Thanos. Thanos was my favorite character of the movie. This was his movie. Look, the fact that even though he wasn't right with what he was doing, and he's crazy, let's not forget that he is crazy. But it's not that his motivations weren't sound. But it's one of those things where it's like, all right, yeah, I'm not sure why you need to destroy half the universe, but I can understand the whole thing about overpopulation, and where he talked about people on Gamora's planet now thriving, and how Titan would have thrived and wouldn't become the absolute wasteland that it had become if it wasn't for them not willing to make sacrifices. Now, it's funny. I've heard a lot of people say, "Well, why didn't he just have the places where they would have more resources?" But maybe that's not how things work. Maybe he can't create more. Maybe the whole thing is he's only able to take away. That could be the whole thing. He's not.
He went to genocide first because he's nuts.
I mean, that could be, but I mean, imagine if in the next movie someone asked him, "Why didn't you just create worlds of abundance? You have the Infinity Gauntlet. You can do whatever you want." And his response is,
"And you got the Power Stone plus the Reality Stone you got the Power Stone to make the Reality Stone even stronger, so you can make an abundance of reality." Yeah, it's a complete fail in plot logic, right?
I mean, no, but what if
his idea to exterminate half his planet came before he knew about the Infinity Gauntlet?
But once he has it, he should know. Like,
oh, but this is a crazy person. Obsessive people don't just change their narrative once they're fixed.
This is why he's not Thanos. This is why it's not Thanos.
That idea, once they're fixed in a solution, they stick to that.
I mean, I guess if you're gonna say Stone Cold isn't Thanos and he's crazy and doesn't know how to think, okay, fine. He's Stone Cold. He's not Thanos. Okay, there you go.
You were the absolute worst. You know what? Yeah, that's what I got for you. You are the.
And what is with this Thanos this Stannis Thanos thing I'm seeing in the chat here? Is it because both of them are poorly adapted versions of the character? Like, what is it? I don't understand this. Thanos thing.
I have no idea.
Is it because It's because this Stone Cold is a Dan and Dave version of Thanos. Is that what they're saying? I don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway, favorite characters from the movies from you guys.
Oh well, I think I thought Tink. Didn't you say it already, or what did you say?
I'd also have to go to Thanos because he's the one who got the most, screen time. The one that we got to see most of. The one that we got to see a story, and he won. In the end, he won. He was successful.
Well, I didn't like him in his own movie. I would say I really enjoyed Doctor Strange here. I thought he was very Doctor Strange-ish. They showed off his powers extremely well. Um, he pretty much acted like a Doctor Strange should act,
He was
and
pretty
he was
good.
great. So Doctor Strange is my favorite in this one.
You didn't like him in his own movie?
Nah, he wasn't that good in his own movie.
But I agree, he was really good in this one. And I loved his
Yeah, he's great.
interactions with Tony Stark.
Yeah, his interactions with Tony Stark were absolute uh, gold. I mean, look,
I might
Thor.
have picked Tony Stark, but I think, man, we're just so used to Robert Downey Jr. delivering it every time. I think we're taking him for granted, but whatever.
Yeah, he does an amazing job. He's such a great actor, and the scene that he has with Peter at the end, I'm like, oh, he sold it. He sold it so well.
Yeah, that was absolute heartbreaking. The damn finger snap, and then seeing all those characters melt away, and then yeah, Peter. Oh man, I mean, and what made it even worse, besides the fact that 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 Tony is holding him as he disintegrates, like when he kind of is like kind of wiping his hands on the floor, trying to kind of grasp what's left, and there's nothing there. That was man, that was yeah, that was hard to watch. And
Yeah.
have you guys heard what Groot's last word to Rocket was?
No.
Didn't you say I am Groot?
No, I mean, well, yes, he said I am Groot, but the translation was supposed to be Dad.
How are we supposed to know that?
I mean, obviously we. I mean, no, I'm saying like that was one of the Russos actually said like that. That's what he said to her.
That?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
that's good. It might have been. I think it might have been a failure of filmmaking. That we weren't able. They weren't able to express that in the movie. That they had to go and say it in an interview.
oh, but how? How would they do it? I am
I
Groot.
don't
That's
know.
what he says.
Uh, Subtitle.
No, I think I disagree because when he said "I am Groot" at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, I think we got a good feeling of what he meant when he said "I am Groot." Like he was saying like we're all together, all for or something like that.
We are Groot.
Oh yeah, there we go. We are Groot.
Uh,
Yeah,
Either way, yeah. Oh, sorry. And then you know what? Ricky Hunt actually corrected me. It was James Gunn who said that. But yeah. Come on, man. Damn. So those two are the kind of the saddest for me. And ah, um, oh, biggest screw up in the movie.
Oh, Peter Quill.
Yeah, Peter Quill. Peter Quill.
That idiot.
They could have gotten the damn Spider-Man got the damn glove like 3/4 of the way off his hand. It was literally at Thanos's fingertips, and then Quill decides to go all and punches Thanos in the face repeatedly, and allows him to wake up.
It depends. If it's Thanos, it doesn't matter. Even if they take the gauntlet off, a Thanos could take out those clowns like that.
Yeah, but if they took the Infinity Gauntlet off, they could use the Infinity Gauntlet against him.
No, not really. Not to its potential. And he can still get it from them pretty easy. Thanos
The
could. I
only
don't know about
thing
Stone Cold. Stone
the
Cold might.
only the only thing that they needed is to use the space stone to take them all away, and Thanos would
That's
be like a
something they
world away.
could.
They could plan and get someone that could really use it. Get Thor.
Thor
There are
couldn't use
many things they
it.
could have done.
I don't know.
Thor was actually another favorite character of mine. Um, I liked Thor's journey in this one, and I thought that it was a great continuation of the character that had been set up in Thor Ragnarok. In terms of like the way he interacted with the Guardians, him coming to save the day at the last moment, and even his final interaction with Thanos when he sinks that axe deep into his chest. But the fact that Thanos actually kind of pushed the axe away and was like, "Yeah, you should have aimed for my head," I was like, "Oh, oh, it's about to get serious."
Wait. Are we already getting to Super Saiyan Thor, or are we getting ahead of ourselves?
I'm just talking about Thor in general.
Super Saiyan Thor, really?
That's what he was.
Oh, Super
Went over
Saiyan.
9,000 for that.
Jerry, you are the absolute. But anyway,
Thor is a god.
let's say again. Wait, man. So
Don't touch Thor. I love Thor. He was perfect in this movie. I loved his initial interaction with the Guardians when Peter Quill is trying to kind of like mock him, and then he just decides to take Rocket and Groot and the pod and the food and everything. He just doesn't freaking care. And then when he comes back and just starts killing everyone, he's like, "Ah, that's my friend Tree." Oh, come on, Thor was brilliant, and he even
I,
saw
I, I actually kind of brings me to my next point.
even the sadness when he's talking to Rocket about how he's lost everything. Come on, Hainsworth really, really sold that. He had to go from like really pissed off to like sad to funny to hilarious to he had to like hit all sorts of ups and lows with like no time because none of them had a lot of screen time. So he had to hit all these marks really, really fast, and he did. He hit them all unbelievably.
shout out to Tree and
I said
Rabbits.
one thing that wasn't believable about Thor. I agree with most of what you said, and that brings me to my next point: the humor in this thing. I thought it was mostly good, but there was a lot of forced humor. Like, why was he calling him Rabbit? That was so stupid. Like,
I
there was
love
no
the
reason.
rabbit gag.
Yeah, that was
I
It was
love
absolutely
just
the rabbit
hilarious.
gag.
it was just a gag out of thin air. Another
Why
humor
not?
that
They
really
might not have raccoons in Asgard.
so it
No,
doesn't look
he
like a
might not know
rabbit.
what a raccoon is, so he just calls him Rabbit.
No, no, he's been on Earth. They've been on Earth many years. That's how they became thought as deities on Earth. Anyways, another failed one I thought was the Spider-Man Doctor Strange introduction, where where Peter Parker's like, "Hey, I'm Peter Parker." He's like, "Hi, I'm Doctor Strange." He's like, "Oh, we're going with our made-up names." Like, huh? That's not his
I
made-up name.
I found him adorable.
Yeah, but
His
look,
name is his name is Stephen Strange, and he's a doctor. His name is Doctor.
Yes,
His
but
okay,
name
he
but
didn't
you know
know
is
what
that.
though? How many people are there walking around in the world whose name is actually Strange? So for him, he's like, oh,
There's
okay, it was,
one.
but and Doctor Strange at that. Come on, man. The dude is dressed up.
His legal
The,
name.
no, Jerry. Come on, man. The
That's his
dude
legal
is
name.
dressed up in a
See,
cape.
that's
His legal
super fake. I would have done exactly what Spider-Man did.
Exactly. I mean,
You're gonna
think about
know.
it. What? And remember, before he actually gets introduced, like, or he introduces himself, what does Tony tell him? Tony says, "Yeah, we got, a guy going after a wizard for an Infinity Stone. Yeah, go try to rescue the wizard." He sees a guy in a cape that's floating by itself that calls himself Doctor Strange. I would not think that was his real name. I would think that was a made up
But it
name
was his real
too.
name, so
But
that's why
he
the
doesn't
joke.
know that.
That's why the joke fails. That's
Oh,
why the
come
joke fails.
on.
The joke succeeds.
You know
You just
what,
don't
Jerry?
No.
Jerry, this one is for you.
This is Sparta!
know. People in the chat, if you're watching, tell us who do you agree with, me and Don Willie or Jerry? Did that joke land or did it not for you guys?
Does making fun of someone's legal name land or not?
Oh, come on. You know what? Stop it, man.
That's what he do. Did I say anything that was wrong? Did I say anything that was incorrect, factually incorrect?
Listen, you know what? It's his legal name, but again, how many people have you ever met in real life with the name Strange?
No one. I've
Okay,
never
then
met
I rest my case. I rest my case. And how many wizards have you ever met in real life, Jerry?
just playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, this fucking guy. You know what, man? Get the hell out of here with that bullshit. Anyway, listen, you know, did every joke land? I think every joke landed, but some of them were better than others.
Junior Landstar, that was funny. Ricky Hunt, it was good. And Jerry is too literal. Humor is subjective to Jerry. The chat agrees with that, Jerry.
It's gotta be clever. Most of the time, I'm not saying all of them. I'm just saying a few of them were like, that was forced.
Drax, come on, tell me at least Drax's joke.
No, Drax is always funny, but I mean,
I love that.
He's a comedy character at this point.
Why is Gamora? I'm invisible. Oh.
Yeah, that was absolutely hilarious.
Which is kind of weird because Drax isn't normally a comedy character, but they've made him a comedy character in these movies.
Yeah, but since the first Guardians, they're like, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast.
Man, come on, listen, you know, it's funny because like Star Wars has gotten a lot of flack recently because people are saying that they're basically trying to copy the Marvel formula and it's not necessarily working.
I would equivalent those jokes that I mentioned as Star Wars jokes, Star Wars level jokes, Disney space movie level jokes.
I mean,
can we please not go into the Star Wars movie right now, please?
No. I just wanted to bring up that people, you know, like have been making that comparison in terms of jokes.
Can we talk about how good the powers were done in this movie?
Oh, the powers were done amazing, especially in the fight with Thanos versus Doctor Strange. You know,
yeah, and how they used the Doctor Strange power for the entire team, like how Spider-Man kept jumping between the portals, and Peter Quill when he like takes out his finger and then jumps backwards. That whole thing was fantastic.
Yes, I thought the power, especially that one, that's why Doctor Strange, his powers views were amazingly done well.
And the Spider-Man suit with like the arms, and it was very cleverly used. You know how he uses it to get Doctor Strange, you know, and to stay in the hole, so you know they're not sucked out into space. Then when he's getting the name sometimes debate me. Palm is the actress, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Mantis, when he uses it to kind of like roll and not crash, I really liked Spider-Man suit was really great.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of funny that they've introduced the Iron Spider suit so early into the Spider-Man mythology for the MCU because you know Spider-Man didn't have that suit for a very long time in the comics, but it works here because it was needed, you know. So yeah, that was absolutely a great addition to Spider-Man for this universe.
Even the Peter Quill's like the way he strategically used all his equipment, I thought was great too. Like He would throw
Yes,
bombs and
let's
little
not
things and
mention
gadgets
Peter
everywhere.
Quill because he screwed up majorly in the end. It was even his plan. He said it's his plan. He ruined his own plan, the idiot.
So I was
Yeah,
gonna get to
yeah.
that part that let's talk about that part that made Quill lose his mind, and that is the Thanos how he got the soul stone. This whole scene. First we get Stone Cold meeting up with Red Skull, and then he's like, I gotta throw you off a cliff to get the soul thing. Um, Two things I had issues with this. One, once we saw Red Skull, I thought this was a huge missed opportunity of Red Skull just being here and just being thrown away. I know they don't have the rights to Doctor, but if you're gonna use Red Skull, I thought into the
Jerry, I can't hear you.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, Jerry,
Oh, you can't hear me?
you were breaking up.
Yeah,
Okay,
I didn't get a
where
word
did I
of
leave
that.
off? Can you still hear me? Can you not hear me?
We can
Yes,
hear you now.
yes, but you
Okay.
have to repeat that because we completely missed it.
Okay, so I was saying when Stone Cold went and got the Soul Stone, he met up with the Red Skull. We find out that you have to sacrifice a life to get the Soul Stone, and he ends up throwing.
Sacrifice something that you love.
What was that?
You have to sacrifice something that you love.
Sacrifice something that you love, to throw to do that, and then two things I thought I thought were that I had a kind of issue with here. One was the use of Red Skull. I mean, it really wasn't an issue. It's more of a missed opportunity. I thought Red Skull could have, if you're gonna have Red Skull around, I thought it would have been much better if they would have thrown him in as the kind of the Doctor Doom role that Doctor Doom played in the Infinity Gauntlet, and had him on the other side trying to be the captain against Stone Cold the way. And I think it would have led to great interaction or between, butting heads between Captain America and Red Skull if they would have both been vying for that leadership role the way Doctor Doom was butting heads with everyone in the Infinity Gauntlet. So I thought that was a bit of a missed opportunity, a waste of Red Skull. And
Well, but the thing about it is that it wasn't Hugo Weaving.
oh,
He's refused to come back. So I don't think, if you saw him, he didn't appear for very long. He always had the cape on. He was kind of used, but not completely. I don't know if it would have really worked if he was during the entire movie.
okay, if they didn't have Hugo Weaving, then okay, then that's fine.
It was someone else. He doesn't want to come back. That's the
Man, it would have
problem.
been good. It would have been good if they would have got Hugo Weaving back and they would have done that. That would have been good.
Yeah, that's why
But if it wasn't Hugo Weaving, I'll take that back. And
I think that's what they would have wanted, but if the actor won't come back, they're sort of limited.
exactly. Yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, I take back whatever I mean, shame, but whatever. Nothing they could have done. I didn't like how easy Gamora went out. Like, come on, Gamora's the
That's
baddest.
my problem.
The baddest woman, one of the baddest women in the galaxy, and she dies from falling off a cliff? From a cliff!
I mean, well,
It wasn't even
listen,
that
hold
deep.
on.
You can see her.
That was a pretty tall cliff, and
Yeah,
I
Thanos
don't care.
Thanos
not
is like
for
3 times her
superheroes.
size.
Not for
I-
superhero.
They've depowered Gamora since the first movie. She's not as powerful as she was in the comics. She's not as badass. She's not as strong. They do say when they're present that she was augmented and changed by Thanos, but you could barely tell. But she's not as strong or as fast or anything as she should be, and she just tries to stab herself and then he just grabs her. Come on, she didn't even try to punch him or fight him or get on top of him and do something or try to throw him with her. If she's gonna die, she might as well try to throw him. Nothing.
I
She
mean,
just
listen.
gonna, oh!
I mean, look. I think at that point, once she realized the truth of the situation, I think she kind of resigned herself to her fate to a certain extent. I mean, to think about it, look, Thanos took out the Hulk with ease. What was Gamora gonna do against him?
She didn't stand a chance. I just don't like the fact that she didn't she didn't work. Come on, at that point, if you're realizing that he's gonna kill you, I would be pissed. I would be like, what the fuck? So I would just, even if I could just get a punch in just to make him hurt.
Make him work for it a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, just throwing up. That's the same way freaking Gwen Stacy dies. I mean,
Now, in this, we are in agreement, Jerry. This, we're in agreement.
I mean, listen, such is life, but
I mean,
I think
that's
that,
my problem.
I mean, listen, I'm not sure.
Don't get me wrong. She doesn't stand a chance against Stone Cold, but make him work for it a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, if I knew I was going to be thrown off a cliff by my stepfather, I would be so fucking pissed. I would just want to hurt him in any possible freaking. Well, at least, if he really does love me, like clearly he loved her, or it wouldn't have worked, make him really suffer through it. You're going to kill me? Well, you're going to freaking suffer for it. Come
I
on.
mean, look, I understand where you two are coming from, but I don't think it was possible. I don't think that there was anything she could have possibly done to change that situation, being that, for one, she didn't have any of her weapons, and two, Thanos is
She's the
probably
most. She's the deadliest woman on the galaxy.
Yeah, but as I said, they depowered her. That's my main problem. They
be honest.
She is.
To be fair, they've depowered all of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Especially Dax is the worst one who's gotten it in the depoweredness. But
no, I think Gamora is more depowered than Drax.
No, Drax is more powerful. Drax actually has a chance against the Thanos in the comics.
Or maybe I'm just more annoyed about Gamora because I like her more. That's possible.
It is possible. I mean, we'll have to see.
It didn't seem like it fit with her character. Gamora is someone that, just she would have fought, even if she knew, wouldn't change anything. Even if she knew.
I mean, well, look, there may have been a little bit that got cut out of it, because I mean, we saw her struggling against him, but it was one of those things where,
kick him.
We saw her struggle.
Try to get on top of his head and punch his head. I don't care. Try anything.
She just did. I think she needed a better send out. I haven't seen the send out this bad since Barris and Selmy killed by a bunch of accountants in mass.
My problem is that it kind of feels like she got fridged. They killed her so that a male character would get something, and she felt like she got fridged.
I mean,
she really was kind of a throwaway character in this movie, almost.
I mean, well, listen, you know what, and we're gonna get to who we think could come back in Avengers 4 later. Well, let's she's
inside of the Soul Stone, so.
Well, let's save that for later. We'll talk about that in a few, but we should move on.
Here's one thing that here's another. One thing I kind of want to give a lot of praise for, but then also one I had issue with. How well the teams came together. I thought how things streamlined to where Iron Man meeting Doctor Strange and meeting and then Spider-Man getting involved. I thought that was all done really well. Like their pair up was really well. And then Thor meeting the Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought that was done extremely well. And then the Guardians of the Galaxy meeting up with Doctor Strange in there. I thought that was I thought most of the meetups were done well. The only one I didn't like was when Vision and in the beginning when Vision and Scarlet Witch were fighting, and then Captain America comes out of nowhere and he's like, "Here I am, we're here." Like, how did you get here so fast?
Well, remember
that. Bruce Banner called him, and they knew.
I know he called him, but even still, that he came out like if he was everywhere in the shadows. Like,
well, no, remember they were tracking Wanda.
I thought they lost track of Wanda.
No, they were tracking.
They lost track of Vision.
Tony lost track of Vision. Tony lost track of Vision.
They lost track of both of them.
No. Cap
Okay, well
and his
then
team
never
were
mind what I just said. I could have sworn they said they lost track of both of them.
no. They
No,
lost
no, no.
track of Tony. Lost track of Vision. Wanda, because remember, uh, they said they told Wanda she was supposed to check in with them and lay low. So I'm pretty sure, because I don't think you're gonna have that kind of fight happen and something like that no red flags are being raised. Yes, it might have been at night, but still that looked like it was a city area. I don't think you're gonna have the kind of fight that Vision and Scarlet Witch had against the Black Order and something not set off any kind of alerts whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure that because remember, and in fact, Wanda was supposed to be going back to meet with Cap and the rest of them. That was supposed to be their
Well,
kind of
then
like their
that's the case,
last
and
night
then everything
together.
makes sense on that on the meetup. In that case, everything was done really well. In which case, I have nothing but praise for that.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I've got to agree with Jerry. I really liked, because they are a lot of characters and they are very spread out. And I was wondering how they would bring them all together. And it actually it really made sense. It made sense how they kind of pulled them all together, you know, on how they introduced themselves. And it just I like that. I really like that at all. I really like that a lot.
As long as you're paying attention to the movie, unlike me, I guess at that point, it makes all sense. Okay, I got to bring up this one scene. I didn't really care for it. I think our friend Tony Teflon didn't care for it. And that's Peter Dinklage playing a giant dwarf. I thought this was just a big waste of time. I was like, he was like a depressed giant dwarf too at that. Something.
Well,
I was like, what is this?
You're
Thanos.
dead.
Hold on, Thanos killed all his people and cut off his hands, and broke his Star Forge. Yeah, I would be a little depressed. My damn
I'm not
self.
saying he didn't have a reason to be depressed. I'm just saying this whole side plot was kind of a waste of time to me. Just to
Come
get
on,
so.
they needed to get Stormbreaker for Thor.
Oh yeah, but they could have done that like a lot quicker. I'm just saying. I think that was they just added scenes that didn't really help anything
I
Dude,
do
that
agree
took
that
up
they
like
could have
plot wise.
streamed.
10 minutes from the movie.
No, I think it was like 15 minutes or 20 minutes almost.
No,
It wasn't
no,
that. It
not
wasn't
much.
that long.
Even 10 minutes is probably too long. Like that should have been a 5-minute scene in and out.
Now
Oh,
they could
you were
have
such a fucking
trimmed it
hater.
a little bit, and I'm guessing the Stormbreaker is actually going to be very important in the next one.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think getting Stormbreaker was a problem. I just thought it could have been done quite. I mean, because there's one part of the movie that dragged. It was that part for me. That I was like, all right, let's get this over with. Let's get on to the next scene. That was the one scene where I was like, okay, let's hurry up.
And also, I think it might be important later on because they do the thing about the gauntlet that A3, or however the hell it's pronounced, he clearly made the glove. And at the end of this movie, we've seen that the glove is damaged.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. I want to talk about that in a few, but before we do,
So I'm thinking that maybe they spent time there, maybe because it's necessary.
You
Right.
think? I mean, do you think? But do you think? I'm just saying. Do you think it was that? Do you think he couldn't have just gone there saying, "Hey, what's up? Let's get it. Go." That they had to do the whole side plot where things are broken. Gotta hold it. Gotta do.
I mean, well, look, it's to show just how powerful not only Thor is, but Thor had to become in order to defeat Thanos. So that this way, at the end, when Thanos still winds up doing the finger snap, it's like, damn, Thor went through that kind of massive little trial by fire, and comes, he saves the day in Wakanda, and still is literally a headshot away from saving the universe. So I think, yeah, we did
Let's
need
actually get
that.
to that. Y'all want to get to the final battle? Thor, Super Saiyan. Well, Thor,
Yes,
Winter
because
Soldier.
I'm running. Well, I've already run a bit out of time, but I don't have a lot longer.
Okay,
Let's get
well,
to that battle.
yeah, real quick. So, um, yeah, you get the arrival of Team Cap in Wakanda. They're trying to save Vision by possibly removing the stone from his head without actually killing him. That fails, uh, and I think we get a very spectacular battle sequence out of this. You get the forces of Wakanda. You get Cap and the rest of the Avengers, and finally the arrival of Hulk. Sorry, not Hulk, but Thor, Rocket, and Groot. And look, you know what? I'm not sure if there was any way that they possibly could have done the battle any better, but I don't know. You guys thoughts on the battle?
I do have one thing that I do have to mention is that I was a bit annoyed of how underutilized Bucky was because I really like his character, and I was a bit. I was like, come on, not even his death was fast. I was a bit annoyed. But my favorite moment of the battle was when Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, and Okoye are fighting, and then suddenly Scarlet Witch appears, and Okoye is like, what was she doing up there all the time? Like, I really love that trio together. They're like so different, but I really enjoyed them together. I want to see a movie with those three women together fighting.
Yeah, them and Captain Marvel.
Yes.
I think that would
Well,
be the awesome foursome. That would be the Fantastic Four we need until Disney gets the rights back from Fox.
well, if I mean, y'all know how I felt about battle, so I wasn't gonna rehash that. But if you're gonna put a mandatory big battle climax at the end, I thought this was about almost as well as you could have done. I really liked how they, showed respect to how powerful Scarlet Witch was. She was the one who was going to destroy it, and she was like had the power to destroy an Infinity Stone. She comes on, wrecks shop. We hit all the beats. Captain America, we see some of him. We see some, maybe some people didn't get as much as they wanted their favorite character, but at least they got some. You got a little Winter Soldier, you got a little Rocket, you got a little bit Captain, you got a little bit of this, you got a little bit of that. The only thing I think that got screwed was, just Bruce Banner there for Huck Hucks instead of having some Hulk badassery. But whatever. Other than that, we get Thor come in. He goes Super Saiyan. He starts going God of War, just flinging everything all over the place, just wrecking shop. And then Thanos finally comes. I guess we'll just say it here. Uh, Turns out they were tricking Scarlet Witch to pull her away. Came into the back, took a separated him, got Vision out there, uses the Time Stone, finishes the Infinity Gauntlet, snaps his fingers, half of the life gone, right before Thor Super Saiyans him. But then
Well,
we
no,
have
that
the
was
end, and then
no, that was right. After no, that was no, after he snapped his fingers after he got hit in the chest with the
I
axe.
thought he was snapping him, and then he got hit.
No. Thanos
But
was
whatever.
shooting at
I mean, it
Thor.
happened pretty close. Like,
Yeah. Um. Now, yeah, man. Look,
and then we lose
I'm not worried about what they did with Hulk in this movie. I think that Hulk will have a much greater part in the next movie. Like I said earlier, I think he'll. I think they're gonna make up for it. So I think people need to calm down about what happened with the Hulk in this particular movie. Look, the Russos have not failed us yet. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt on it. But look, that scene at the end with Vision and Scarlet Witch, um, that was kind of a heartbreaking scene because these are two characters who have definitely grown to to care for each other a great deal. And for Scarlet Witch to be told, like, look, you're gonna have to kill me in order to save the universe. And this is the second time this movie that someone has said, hey, you're gonna have to kill me in order to save the universe. And this time she actually does complete her mission, only for Thanos to turn back time and basically screw her out of the great sacrifice that she made, and then to grab the time. I mean, damn, like Vision looked absolutely beyond wrecked.
Hold on, hold on. I want you to stop you right there, Don Willie. How? I mean, obviously we can't do it because Wonder Man doesn't. They never brought Wonder Man in, so they can't be the same reason. But I like how color left on him. Do you think we're gonna get a revived Vision of a colorless revived Vision like we had in the comics?
Yeah, I think that
I think he's gonna
I
stay
mean,
dead.
nah, I think that
I think
Vision.
colorless revived Vision's coming back.
Yeah, no, I think Vision is gonna wind up returning, and I think it's probably going to be Shuri who puts him back together. Because remember, she already scanned his brain, and it was kind of like, hey, well, you guys could have. Because remember, she kind of like gets on Banner like, hey, why didn't you guys, uh, basically make his mind in this particular fashion, and I think she's going to be the one that winds up bringing him back and somehow powers him with vibranium. But yeah, he will be a different Vision, just like in the comics. Um,
Look, there has to be some permanent deaths. If
right.
Disney just revives everyone, it will it will lose
Well,
the gravitas of this movie. There's got to be, and they haven't known what to do with Vision. Vision has been, in Civil War he was underutilized. In Age of Ultron he didn't come until the end. I don't think they know what to do with Vision much. So I think he would be a good character to keep dead. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me and are going to get angry, but I didn't mind Vision staying dead.
I think there's just too much of an opportunity to bring him back. And before we get into what we expect, because I do want to talk about that, let's talk about how everyone felt about this ending here. Half of everyone goes, and then even in the credits, the end credits, we see, Maria Hill and Nick Fury gone too.
Um,
They had guts to kill that many because they could have like killed like half of the population, but not many of the superheroes go. But they took away almost all of the Guardians except Rocket, Black Panther, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. Uh, a lot of them went.
right. And listen, I think the fact that it wasn't just a thing where they got blinked out of existence, where it was just like they were here and then they're gone. I think the whole them fading into dust like that actually added gravitas to it. So I think that was a great choice that they made.
Yeah, they
Deciding to do that.
they definitely made it cinematically better, in my opinion.
All right, so look. All right, so let's get to who we think is permanently dead, who we think might come back, and who we think definitely will come back. So, I'm just gonna go through a list of names, and you guys tell me gone for good, maybe, or definitely coming back. All right?
Well, I think everyone that disappeared with the snap of the fingers, I think all of them are coming back.
Okay. So,
I don't think they
Jerry.
all come back right away. They come back like maybe in the third act of the next movie, but they
Well,
do come back.
yes, but I mean by the end of the fourth movie, everyone, because the thing is reversing that snap. So I think everyone who disappeared
Well,
with the
I
snap,
think there also will be new deaths in between now and then as well.
well,
Okay.
that
Well.
that that I believe as well.
All right. All right. So we're pretty much all in agreement then that the people who died as a result of Thanos snapping his fingers will come back, even though some of them might not. Uh, some of them may not stay revived permanently. Right.
Correct.
Okay. Now, all right, Loki.
Dead.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead for good.
Okay, Heimdall.
Dead
Dead.
for good.
Let's see. Vision.
Coming
Dead.
back.
All right. Gamora.
Maybe.
Dead.
She's
Uh,
still in the time stone. She's in the soul stone. They've confirmed it, and
well,
she's in
no,
the soul stone.
wait.
There's a possibility.
Well, no. I saw an update to that whole thing where Joe Russo said that when Thanos sees young Gamora, that is not actually Gamora. That is a representation of basically his guilt for having killed her and what he had to sacrifice in order to accomplish his goal. So that was not actually the real Gamora that he saw.
It was
in
kind of
Civil
like
War.
Leo
No, but I read
DiCaprio's.
somewhere else that they've confirmed that she's in the soul stone, even if that little girl represented his guilt. I've heard somewhere that she's still in the soul stone because that's she needed to die to get the soul stone, and that she's. I don't know. I'm hoping. So you're not killing that hope until I see Avengers 4. So I'm saying maybe.
Okay. I mean, listen, I'll go with a maybe on Gamora. I think Vision is definitely coming back, and Loki and Heimdall are done for.
Dead.
So yeah. Now, out of the people who faded away, who do you think could possibly die permanently in Avengers
coming
4?
back?
I say again, Jerry?
You mean after coming back?
Yes, after coming back.
None
I'm
of the
not
ones
sure
that
because
have-
I mean, if they come back near the end, where is the fight? It depends. Where's the fight gonna? If it's gonna take place on Titan, how are they gonna get there? I don't think it's gonna take place on Earth. I think it's gonna take place on Titan. This final fight.
Oh, we have no idea. That's not the. I don't think any of the Guardians are gonna die because they still have a movie. And if Gamora does stay dead, then they can't kill anymore. Black Panther and Spider-Man, neither of them are staying dead because they have movies coming out. Doctor Strange is just too cool and too new to the world for him to stay dead as well.
You know, here's the thing. I don't think any of them are because they're all like. If you notice, almost all of them are new. Are the new characters that went out. The ones that didn't go out
The
are the
originals are the
original.
ones that worry me.
Okay.
The original, like Iron Man lived, Thor lived. I mean, even though Hulk lived, what is it? Black Widow lived. What's his name? Hawkeye wasn't there, so we gotta assume he's still alive. Ant-Man wasn't there. We gotta assume he's alive. I mean, he might not be a real original Avenger in the movies, but he's an original Avenger in the comics.
Yeah, but
even though it's different. Even though it's different.
I'm afraid that the original Avengers some of them might die in Avengers 4.
That's exactly what I was getting to. I really think that both because I know they don't want to do it anymore. Captain America and he's going out for sure. Robert Downey Jr. is not getting any younger. I think he's going out in the next movie.
I'm sorry, but they're some of my favorites. The MCU won't be the same without the originals. I'm sorry, but it won't.
Well, it won't, but you have to move on. Chris Evans doesn't want to do Captain America forever.
Well, yeah, maybe a few years more. Like, they don't have to kill them. They can just be benched for a little while and then appear in another movie for a little while.
I think it's a waste in a story like this if you don't kill them, if they're not going to stay.
Then kill Hawkeye.
Okay, all right.
I bet I wouldn't be surprised if Hawkeye goes out too.
Okay, so look, all right. Here's my question. I'll bring up names and we'll go with dead or alive for the next. Right? Iron Man.
No.
Dead. He dies in the next one.
Okay. Captain America.
Alive.
War Machine.
He might be like the new Nick Fury in the next one.
Okay.
Yeah,
he might retire as a superhero or something, become in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something.
Okay, let's see here. Rocket.
He'll live.
Let's see here. Black Widow.
Live.
Nick Fury.
Oh, come on, live.
I think he will die.
Oh, I love Nick Fury. They can't kill Nick Fury.
Bill Coulson.
He's not
He's
gonna
already dead. Agents of Shield doesn't count.
Agents of Shield does count. Damn it.
No, it doesn't count.
not in the movies anymore.
Okay. Let's see here. Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Dead. I'm gonna go dead. I think he'll die.
All right. Anyone from Team Ant-Man?
Nah,
Good.
they still have movies coming.
He's too new.
I mean,
Yeah.
but I'm saying Hank Pym.
Oh, Hank Pym. Yeah, Hank Pym might go out.
Yeah.
I
Hank
don't think
Pym,
he'll be in the
Janet Van
fourth one, in the fourth Avengers. There's just no space.
Dyne. Okay. Let's see here. What about Wong?
They can't kill Wong.
I don't even know if Wong's gonna be around. We'll see.
I mean, he kind of dipped on him. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The sanctum is to save him out. That was kind of a crazy one. Ned Leeds.
Nah,
Who?
they can't kill him. He's gonna be in the next Spider-Man.
Who? Ned?
Yeah.
Peter
No,
Parker's
no. It's more likely we see Ned Stark come in here just to get killed again than Ned Leeds die.
Oh man.
You
Trying
know,
to think about.
there's a character that I think is gonna die, and it's obvious because he's not that important because we've completely forgotten about him. Falcon.
Falcon was one of the
No,
ones
I
that
think he
disappeared.
becomes the new Captain America.
No, Bucky has to.
Or
be
him or
Captain.
Bucky. Him or Bucky becomes the new Captain America.
Bucky was the first one who became Captain America after Steve Rogers died. Then in the comics later on, they made it Falcon. But come
Yeah.
on, Sebastian Stan does such an amazing job with the action sequences. Bucky is amazing. If a Captain America has to die, Bucky Barnes. We've even seen his whole redemption arc. We've seen him go from his best friend to the Winter Soldier to kind of lost Winter Soldier best friend, and now he's fixed in Wakanda. He's back. He has a new arm. It would be such a waste not to make him Captain America after the whole arc and how invested people are in him and how close their friendship is, how far Captain America has go for Bucky Barnes. It has to be Bucky Barnes. I'm sorry, but it has to be him. And he was
I can go with either. I like both, so either
I'm
one's
sorry,
fine with
but
me.
I'm just not a fan of the Falcon character. I'm not.
Okay. Let's see here.
A little racist, but
Alright. Wow.
Oh come on! I'm a huge fan of T'Challa. I'm not Anthony
Well-
Mackie. I don't get his jokes. I don't know.
Well, speaking of Wakanda, Okoye.
No one from Wakanda can die. They're too new and they're too awesome. And they better not kill Shuri or I'll kill them all.
What about M'Baku?
sure you won't die, but Okoye might die.
No, Okoye can die. She needs to have her movie with Scarlet Witch and Black Widow and kick
No,
ass.
she's not like a hero like the rest of them.
Oh, what the hell? Of course she is. That's why she was there with everyone else. Okoye
Yeah.
is so
What
badass.
is okay, what group has Okoye ever been on?
I don't care. She's badass now,
There you go.
so we
That's
add
why,
her.
why she might go.
All right.
She did very well in the comics. She's amazing in the movies.
All right.
And I dare you say anything against her.
M'Baku.
Oh no, they can't kill M'Baku.
Who's in Baku?
Who's M'Baku? Oh come on, he's the other one, the one that challenged T'Challa.
Oh, that
the
guy,
first
that guy.
scene,
I don't even
And
think he comes out
goes
in the next movie. So
and then he comes back with his army and grabs her. Like, whoa! Come on,
yeah, I don't think so.
he can't
All
do
right.
that.
Oh man. Let's see here. I think that is all of the characters that I can think of. I mean,
So,
and trillion of them now.
That's kind of a problem I had with how this whole thing played out. They threw everything they had against Thanos, and he still won. What can they do in the next movie that could possibly one up Thanos now that he has the Infinity Gauntlet?
We'll see. It's just I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Jerry, but I can't keep with this discussion. I've already run longer than I already was supposed to.
All right. Yeah. All right.
We did this at 2 hours, and I said 1 hour and a half max. So I'm like almost 30 minutes over.
Oh man. All right, so look, we're gonna have to wrap this up. Um,
You guys keep on if you want, but I just
I
can't.
do want to mention that real quick. Don Willie, you want to talk about that real quick?
well, you know what? I want to get Tinker's rating before she goes.
Yeah, let's do that.
So yeah, out of 10, what do you give this one, Tinker?
I I'm gonna give it an 8 because while I really loved it, I felt it was more of an experience than a story. I had a little bit of issue with the Gamora thing, and I wish they would have getting a bit of more of Captain America there because he's one of my absolute favorite characters. So it's just kind of like, and it didn't have. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. It's still a great movie, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm gonna give it.
Well, Tinker, it was great having you. Jerry and I guess we're gonna continue this for a little while
Yes,
before we wrap up.
it's keep talking, enjoy yourself. But I just, I'm already run. I'm actually gonna get into a little bit of trouble. I was just having too much fun. I didn't want to stop. But
All
no,
right, all
I'm
right.
gonna go right now. Thank you everyone who has been watching us live, who's there in the chat and who's commented. I had a lot of fun. I hope you've been enjoying yourself. And Jerry, Don Willie, it's been a pleasure to talk about this movie with you guys. Keep having fun and bye bye.
All right, bye,
All right,
Tinker.
bye.
All right.
So, all right, Willie. So, what do you expect that they're gonna have to do something to counteract to make you can't win with the skeleton crew that they got now. And we know we're getting Captain Marvel. We might get Adam Warlock. That's not nearly enough to offset what they've lost here.
I mean, well, for one, Adam Warlock, they said it isn't gonna be introduced till the next Guardian, so Adam Warlock is already off the table.
So that's
Um,
even worse. That's even worse than what are they like? You're gonna throw Galactus out there. You're gonna throw the Elders out there. You're gonna throw all the Celestial. I mean, what can you throw? This guy, he beat him without the Infinity Gauntlet. Now he has it. What,
right, but the Infinity Gauntlet looked like it was badly damaged. I don't even know if he can even really use it anymore. Um, because like yeah, if you noticed, I mean, not only was the Infinity Gauntlet damaged, uh, he kind of looked like he sustained some possible permanent burns, and it was the craziest thing because it's like, all right, he snapped his fingers and the damn thing blew up on his arm. Like that was it. I don't know, was it that or was it him trying to stop Thor, um, and the energy kind of backfiring? I like that was the thing I was wondering.
so you think Thanos might be lower level than before? Because that's I guess that could be it. Because I couldn't come out of the way of figuring out how are they going to one up this guy now that he's. I figured he leveled up after getting even with the broken gauntlet. He still got the 6 stones.
Right. Yeah. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I have no idea. I mean, it's heavily implied that there was going to be time travel in the next movie. Like, there have already been uh set photos. Yeah, set photos with Captain America in his Avengers 1 uniform, and without the beard. And I doubt that he decided after they lost to Thanos, like, I'm gonna shave and look for my old uniform. So there's that, and who knows what else? I mean, and I think the next one could be an extravaganza as well because you're probably gonna have, um, if they're doing the time travel thing, you're probably gonna have cameos from a lot more people who haven't been seen in the MCU in a while.
I mean, because time travel at this point. I mean, now that you mentioned it, I didn't think about it. I was stumped on what they're going to do. Now time travel. That's the only thing that I think could make sense to stop this dude because I think he's unstoppable now. You're gonna have to go back to a point where he wasn't unstoppable. But
Yeah,
then
so
again, and it's gonna his goblin's gonna have to be damaged to where he can't just go back in time with you because he controls the time stone. So theoretically, if he had full control over it, he can just you're going back in time, me too.
Now, do you think it's possible that they go back in time and stop the Infinity Gauntlet from being created? But
They
then,
have
you know
to.
what? You can't. What? But then you can't really do that because if you do that, you also stop Stormbreaker from being created, and I don't think they're going to retcon Thor's weapon.
I don't know. See, I think they're in a weird position to like have what. No matter what they do, it's going to be something crazy.
Right? How crazy is it going to actually wind up getting? From that. Oh man. Now, still, debating the whole thing with Gamora. The Soul Stone debate still kind of rages, and it's gonna be around until next year at least. I mean, Zoe Saldana already said that she's in part four, but again, we don't know if
She
this
might be in a
is.
flashback.
Yeah, it could be a
Can't remember.
flashback, it could be time travel, or it could be her escaping from the soul world. Um, so yeah, and we don't know as far as what the storyline is for Guardians 3 other than we're going to be getting Adam Warlock. So and plus also there's the possibility of the original Guardians of the Galaxy with Sylvester Stallone and Ving Rhames. So yeah, that one, like Infinity War Part 2 or whatever it's going to be called, is going to have major implications for a lot of movies going forward. And I don't know, man. This movie is going to be talked about for a very long time, I think. And I think that the Russos were able to pull off a feat that very few filmmakers would have actually been able to accomplish. So, whether or not the movie has long term implications for the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think just as an achievement in filmmaking and storytelling, you have to give them their props on that one because this could have went really bad. This could have went really bad. And holy shit, I lost Jerry. I don't know how the hell that one happened, but apparently I have lost Jerry. Hold on, let me see if I can get Jerry back here. Yeah, you guys get to hear all the crazy background sounds now too. This is wild. Yeah,
All
Jerry,
right.
what? Yeah, Jerry, what happened?
I think it dropped. I think something. I had like a quick reboot. Are we still live or did it end?
No, we're still live. We're still live.
Okay.
All right. Oh man. You know what though? But given the whole technical situation, we probably should
We
try
probably
to try to wrap this up. All right. Yeah, so what is your rating out of 10 for Avengers Infinity War?
Well, I mean, I didn't like that they went. I didn't like the way they went. I thought there was a lot of missed opportunities. I thought this was like a limit. I thought they went a little bit too formula Disney, but that's not always a bad thing. It's not always different. It's not always bad. They did do what they went out and accomplished, and they accomplished most of it pretty well. So I'm gonna give it like a 7.5, 1 out of 10. With five being average. So this would be on a pretty good scale. It's a pretty good movie.
7.5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'd give it a 9. Again, not my favorite comic book movie of all
Yeah,
time.
I still prefer like Winter Soldier. I preferred Black Panther that came out earlier. A few others I prefer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, not my favorite of all time, but I think in
I think it's the
terms
best
of
Avengers movie.
yeah, best Avengers movie definitely, and I think in terms of giving us something that is as close to the comic books in terms of like the way that it if this to me looked the most like a comic book on screen than anything.
I
The
would say with
look,
at least with the powers that they were using, I would maybe agree with that.
I mean, I would say, look, not only the powers, but the look, the way that they were able to juggle multiple storylines, but still have it all, uh, make sense in terms
Kind
of
of like a panel by panel streamline.
right. You
Okay,
know,
yeah, I can agree with that.
so that's part of the reason why I think that it's up there for me. I mean, I've seen it twice. Uh, who knows? I might go watch it again just because. But yeah, man, I love this movie, and I can't wait to see what they do with part four, whatever the movie's called. And I'm pretty sure that they're probably gonna wait until Comic-Con or D23 or something else before they decide to give us the name of the next Avengers movie, because they don't want to take away from the hype that's already surrounding this movie, which is still doing gangbusters worldwide. Uh,
I,
what where do you see this topping off at in terms of the box office?
oh, this thing, yeah, it should break all records. I mean, what's it at now?
Currently at 1.29 billion.
I mean, it'll probably play for about 5 more weeks. Maybe what? Probably get. I mean, the once it gets this far out, you don't really see too much more big gains. So you're probably going to see it tap out at about 1.6 billion, which is still huge. It's ridiculous.
Well, let's see here. Hold on. Because The Force Awakens currently, I think, is the like number one box office. Not not a what do you call it? Not taking in adjustment, inflation and all that other stuff. So The Force Awakens made 2 billion. Yeah, made almost 2.1 billion. I think that this definitely has the potential to uh to beat that number.
Well, what was the Force Awakens after because it's been 3 weeks, right?
Um yeah. And you got to think about it. Black Panther stayed at number 1 for 5 weeks. And Black Panther I think might still there might be some places that think about it. Black Panther came out or is coming out on Blu-ray next week. And I think you might still be able to catch showings of Black Panther in
Here's
certain
one of the
places.
problems I see is that because it's the same studio, where Black Panther, they pretty much were uncontested for weeks and weeks and weeks on end.
Right.
I think Marvel is going to pull some of their Infinity screens out of theaters and try and push their stupid solo movie. And I
Oh,
think that's going to do them damage.
we're not gonna talk about we're not gonna talk.
So it's not going to be the quality of the movie why they don't hit it. It'll be Disney pushing their agenda why they don't hit it.
I mean, well, they
Why they don't
might.
probably hit? Why do they don't get probably past 1.7 or something?
Nah, you know what?
1.
I think now I still think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna do the 2 billion. It just the whole thing is it may not ride the 5 weeks at number one like Black Panther did.
We'll see. And I mean, also one thing I want to say about my rating is a lot of it. This is a setup movie, so it's subject to change based on what happens in the next Infinity War movie. I thought this movie should have been called Infinity Quest. I think that would have been a more appropriate title. because it was a bit more of Thanos' quest to get the Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a setup movie. If this ends up, being the setup and the next one just knocks it out of the park based on the foundation that this one built, then I think I'll have to bump up my score a little bit on this. But if it turns out that the Russo brothers pulled a Vince Russo and blew their load early with this and came out with the next movie and like, we don't want to know what to do next, that would lower it. We'll just have to wait and see. I expect that they won't do that, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, you know what? I'd love to know what you guys in the chat think. You know, yeah, what do you think this is gonna top out at? Do you think it has the potential to possibly beat The Force Awakens in terms of box office? Uh, predictions for Avengers Part 4.
Yeah, we want your predictions. Who's gonna live? Who's gonna die? Who are we gonna see? Who's gonna be surprised? Who's gonna be coming out? Who's gonna be the third man?
You with the damn wrestling references. Yeah, man. So Jerry, you got anything? Any last thoughts before we wrap up?
I mean, it was a good movie. It was different. 7.5 is where I'm standing, and that's the bottom line. 'Cause Stone Cold said so.
If you say so, Stone Cold. You with the damn Stone Cold shit. Oh man. All right, so yeah, listen, we are going to, try to make sure to get our next reread done. We're probably going to be pushing for Friday night to do our next reread, and that is A Feast for Crows prologue. That's
Big
right.
boy Pete.
8 and Jack and Hagar. Who comes out on top in this one? We'll talk about it. Look, yeah, listen, thank you to everybody who joined us live. Thank you to anyone who will be checking us out after. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna have to do some edits to put all the links in the description and all that stuff. But yeah, you guys already know the deal. This is Jerry Targaryen Steamboat and Don Willie for the Hypes Watch. And we will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Hopefully. We are the one true hype.
'Cause Stone Cold said so.
Bye, y'all.
All right. We finished?